one of the greatest rock and roll songs ever written. It's been covered by many, many bands since it was written, and the lyrics are shrouded in mystery. All Along the Watchtower has both power and mystique, and the lyrics can take on a variety of interpretations, but I think it is inspired by the Bible. Nevertheless, I love this song. Welcome to the show, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special show for you this week because we are going to talk about music, culture, poetry, and a man who's had tremendous influence over it all, Bob Dylan. All Along the Watchtower is up there amongst some of his best, but it really came into its own when Jimi Hendrix covered it. In fact, Hendrix's form is how Dylan performs it live nowadays. Additionally, the song has been covered by U2, as well as the best band in the world, my boys, the Dave Matthews Band. Say what you want about them, but each of those guys are musicians. I wish it was easier for great musicians with so much talent to get discovered and be successful. But I think DMB is the last truly great act out there, and they are the best example of good modern music. All this pop, hip-hop, and modern rock is just garbage. So I'll keep listening to DMB and keep listening to the classics while I watch the music industry take its last breath. But I digress. I think All Along the Watchtower has its roots in the Bible, but you can apply the meaning to American life too. I'm not saying that because it's a song based on the Bible that it's a bad song. Far from it. The song is cryptic, and it can mean one thing to me and something else to you. And that's the sign of great lyrics. This is a song to make you think, a trait which most modern music lacks. On one hand, the lyrics are cynical and they speak of something that will happen and continue to happen, and on the other hand, we see very specific biblical references. So, what's Bob Dylan's religious affiliation? Well, when growing up in Minnesota, he was raised Jewish. In the late 1970s, he converted to Christianity. He said in interviews that he doesn't align himself with the born again label, and at the same time he has never considered himself agnostic, and he doesn't subscribe to any organized religion. So what could he have been thinking when he wrote the lyrics to Watchtower? One of the greatest songs ever written, and one that I think tells the story of both the crucifixion of Jesus and the apocalypse. In fact, Dylan said of John Wesley Harding, the album which Watchtower appears on, it is the first biblical rock album. So let's pick it apart. The story's structure is unusual. It kind of starts at the end and then works backwards in time, and then goes back to the end where the setting becomes known. Let's take a look at the first verse. In the context of the Bible, fools and thieves are some of man's sins. There are many theories as to who the Joker and the thief are, but some think it's the two guys that were hung up next to Jesus when he was crucified. However, all it says in the Bible is that there were two men being crucified with Jesus on either side. The rest of the first verse is just saying that the businessmen and the plowmen of the world waste our natural resources and take them for granted, and these practices could lead to our destruction. You can even say that there is a reference to the cultural and economic divide that exists in our country. In the second verse, that's where the cynicism starts to come in. No reason to get excited, the thief he kindly spoke. Dylan paints the picture of a friendly yet matter-of-fact conversation about the apocalypse and how the people in power were careless about the use of our resources, and that's part of what led to our demise. In fact, the hour is getting late lyric clearly refers to the sun setting on the day and perhaps civilization. The third verse is where we see the clearest biblical references. This entire verse seems to be based around Isaiah chapter 21, where two riders on horseback come to tell the fall of Babylon. All along the watchtower, the princes kept the view. And in the Bible, prepare the table, watch in the watchtower, eat, drink, arise ye princes. And then the lyrics, the wind begins to howl, signifies the beginning of the end. And there again, the story is all told with a very matter-of-fact tone, as if to say that Babylon can fall, and so can America. At the end of the day, I take the song to be a warning, because as we all know, history tends to repeat itself. But whether or not Dylan is saying what is in the Bible is actually true or not, that's up to the listener to decide. And I think Dylan is using some of the stories in the Bible as a homily, a friendly word of warning regarding the state of the world. So, how about you? What do you take from this song? Does it make you think about religion or the world we live in? To all the young people out there, do you listen to Britney Spears or Young What's-His-Name or Little Miss TNA? If you do, A, shut up. B, challenge yourself by becoming immersed in this so much better music, because I think it's much more enriching and inspiring than any of these radio hits. You know, if we demand better music, the industry will deliver, and maybe we'll see the next Bob Dylan. So, that's my little soapbox for this episode. But as for Dylan's religious beliefs, he once recorded a great rendition of O Little Town of Bethlehem for a Christmas LP. And in 2009, interviewer Bill Flanagan said that he sang the song like a true believer. To that, Dylan responded, "Well, I am a true believer." Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I will leave you with some godly tweets. Later.